What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the 1983 Down the Mine pilot for Thomas the Tank Engine. So let's talk about this. Now today is May 9th, and the original test pilot of Thomas and Friends has officially been released out to the public thanks to Mattel. Now, this was, of course, lost media because this was the original test pilot to market Thomas based from the Railway series by the Reverend W. Audrey. The test pilot was a huge success, and the show was greenlit, and the show would last for 40 years. However, it has been 42 years since the original pilot was seen publicly, and with the celebration of the 80th anniversary of the Railway series and Thomas and Friends as a whole, Mattel dig through their archive and rescan the entirety of the Down the Mine pilot and released it publicly for us to view on the Thomas and Friends official YouTube channel. So what is my initial thoughts on the Down the Mine pilot? Well, this is of course the final ever model series episode yet, and I think this was a banger to end it off. This episode was fantastic to see where it all started and where it all began, and I really love the test pilot itself. Now, they brought back some Thomas alumni to return, such as Ringo Starr, who was the narrator of the first two seasons. However, he did not come back. Instead, they got never before heard voiceovers of Ringo narrating the Down the Mine episode. And that was just kind of cool hearing Ringo narrate Thomas since season 2, and that was quite heartwarming. Michael Donald, one of the composers of Thomas from seasons 1 through 7, returned to actually do the score of the Down the Mine pilot. That was quite awesome to actually have him to come back and do the score of this episode. That was quite neat, and the score itself was fantastic. And probably the best part about this test pilot was seeing the original test models of both Thomas and Gordon, of what they originally looked like. And their models are kind of faithful to the actual illustrations from the Railway series, especially the Thomas and Gordon faces. Like, that was spot on. And the fact that they had the mine collapse in the pilot was pretty impressive, while in the finalized version of the episode in series 1, they didn't had that cool effect of the mine being collapsed. But in the pilot they did was fantastic. I really love it. But one more thing I want to of course talk about from this pilot was that very nice ending to dedicate Britt Allcroft, who sadly passed away back in December 2024, which we got the news of her passing earlier this year. And that was quite heartwarming to have her dedication from this pilot that she, of course, made. That was a huge success for the Thomas and Friends franchise. But I'm really happy that they actually restored the 1983 pilot, because seeing this in 4K was absolutely fantastic. And I'm truly grateful for Mattel for them to fully restore the 1983 pilot. However, it was not fully restored because some scenes from this pilot were, of course, missing. Some of them were, of course, the Thomas going under the bridge shot, and probably more shots were probably missing. And Mattel did had to go through their archives to reconstruct this episode. So some shots in the finalized pilot were from season 1. So Thomas going under the bridge, that was used footage from season 1. So they had to go through Mattel's archives and rescan that one shot of Thomas going under the bridge in 4K. So that was quite nice to see that footage once again. But overall, the original pilot for Thomas and Friends was really something special for us Thomas fans. And I'm glad that they finally released it after 42 years without seeing from the public and being shown for us publicly 42 years later to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the Thomas franchise as a whole. But what do you guys think about the Thomas and Friends pilot? Do you like it? And is it better than the final version that we got from season 1? Leave all your thoughts down in the comments down below. and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys subscribe, turn on notifications whenever I post a brand new video, and until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!